In my book, Saving Truth, Finding Meaning and Clarity in a Post-Truth World, I describe how we're now immersed in this post-truth society. Now, what does that exactly mean? Well, let me give you an illustration to show you what I mean by a post-truth culture. A while back, I was traveling internationally for a speaking engagement. Now, normally I fly to those, or if I come into Canada from where I live in Michigan, I'll cross over the Blue Water Bridge in Sarnia or go through the Ambassador Bridge near Windsor. But for this particular speaking engagement, I was going to a town called Wallaceburg, which required me to cross over the river between Detroit and or between Michigan and Canada at a place called Algonac. And there was a car ferry there, no bridge, no tunnel. Now, I'm from the Great Lakes state, so I expect these big ships that hold 30 and 40 cars. Well, this was not one of those kind of ships. It was barely qualified as a boat. It held 2 cars maximum. And I got onto this little thing, and the captain of the vessel told me, stay in your car, it's gonna be a short trip, and it's blazing hot outside. So I said, fine, I'll do that. So I got in my car. Now, I'm terrible with directions. I'm horrible with finding my place anywhere I'm going. So I'm obsessed with looking at the GPS. So I happened to look down at the GPS system of my car at the very moment that the car pulled away from the dock. So I didn't see us leave the dock. But because I was in the car, the suspension of the car absorbed the energy of us leaving. So I didn't feel us leave the dock. So because I couldn't see it or feel it, when I looked up, I couldn't tell if we were moving or not. It was that sort of vertigo you have when you're at an intersection and there's a bus sitting next to you and the bus pulls forward, and for that split second you're not sure if the bus is moving forward or you're moving backward. And in your panic, you look for some fixed point of reference to tell you if you're actually moving or not. Well, I was in a river. Everything is moving, so nothing is a fixed point of reference. So in order to assuage my confusion and my vertigo, I had to look for the distant shore, and then I could see that we were, in fact, moving, and it all cleared up. Today's culture is much like being in the river, where there are no longer any fixed points of reference within view. There are certainly fixed points of reference, but we left those so long ago. Dry land is so far behind us now that we sort of resent dry land. We don't want fixed points of references. That's what a post-truth culture is. It's one that elevates feelings and preferences above facts and truth. That's why Oxford English Dictionary is named post-truth as its word of the year in 2016. We're currently immersed in a society that wants our preferences and our feelings to matter more than facts and truth. So how do we deal with that kind of a thing? How do we actually express truth to a culture that values confusion as a virtue, but decries clarity as a sin? I think it's important that we do this, but the way we do this, essentially, is to point out the very serious consequences that happen, negative consequences that happen when we elevate feelings and preferences over facts and truth, when we sacrifice clarity on the altar of human autonomy. There are negative consequences, but then we also have to bring in the hope that we can find in the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus Christ himself, who claimed to be the very incarnation of truth. When we follow that, when we understand where that is, not only will our truth suddenly become obvious to us and that truth is just what it is, it's just objective, but our preferences that we once elevated over the truth now become in line with the truth. So we no longer want to conform the truth to our preferences, but in Christ we can conform our preferences to He who himself is the truth.